The wind rustles gently through fields that glisten not with synthetic sprays but with the sheen of early morning dew. A quiet revolution is taking root across the globe, one that whispers rather than shouts, nourishes rather than depletes, and grows with nature rather than against it. This is not the agriculture of the past century, stained with chemical runoffs and monocropped wastelands. This is green farming, an era where no chemicals, no problem, is not a challenge, but a triumphant declaration of possibility. The future is not in fighting nature with synthetic weapons but in collaborating with her intricate systems. Farmers, researchers, and communities are rewriting the narrative of agriculture, not with laboratory formulas, but with earth, seeds, microbes, and sunlight. Green farming is not merely about what it avoids, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, but what it embraces, biodiversity, soil health, renewable practices, and deep ecological intelligence. Imagine a field of maize where each stalk stands tall, not fed by nitrogen from a distant factory, but by natural compost, intercropped legumes fixing nitrogen directly into the soil. Imagine tomatoes ripening under the sun, their leaves protected not by a synthetic fungicide, but by a concoction of neem oil, garlic, and helpful predatory insects like ladybugs and lacewings. This is not fantasy. It's happening now, from small permaculture plots in East Africa to large-scale regenerative ranches in the United States. The future is sprouting in these fields, one chemical-free harvest at a time. But how is it possible? How do we feed billions without the industrial-scale chemicals that once promised miracles? The answer lies not in abandoning productivity, but in redefining it. Soil is no longer treated as inert dirt, but as a living, breathing ecosystem, a complex web of fungi, bacteria, worms, and roots. By nurturing this underground community through composting, cover cropping, and minimal tillage, farmers are finding yields that rival or even surpass conventional methods, especially in the long run. The idea is simple yet revolutionary: feed the soil, and it will feed the crops. It's an inversion of the top-down, input-heavy model that dominated the 20th century. Instead of force-feeding crops, green farming coaxes them to thrive through harmony. Crops are no longer isolated in vast, vulnerable monocultures. Instead, they grow alongside companions in diversified polycultures. Beans climb corn stalks while squash sprawls across the soil, shading it and preventing weeds. These combinations aren't random, they're ancient techniques modernized by science. The Three Sisters method, once used by indigenous peoples of the Americas, is now backed by agronomic studies showing better pest resistance, improved soil fertility, and increased resilience to climate extremes. In India, system of rice intensification, SRA, is reducing water use and increasing yields, without a single drop of chemical fertilizer or pesticide. Farmers are not just growing food, they are cultivating ecosystems. And the revolution isn't confined to traditional farms. Rooftops in bustling cities are turning into gardens. Hydroponic systems, using nutrient-rich water and no soil, allow for leafy greens to flourish in abandoned warehouses and containers. In some cases, these urban farms even exceed traditional farms in efficiency and output. The twist? Many of these systems are going entirely organic or semi-organic, relying on fish waste in aquaponics or plant-based nutrient solutions instead of artificial fertilizers. They're clean, closed-loop, and remarkably productive. The future isn't just green, it's hyperlocal, scalable, and adaptive. Green farming is also embracing ancient wisdom. Indigenous knowledge systems, often sidelined by modern agriculture, are gaining respect for their deep understanding of ecological balance. In the Andes, farmers still use terraces and plant dozens of potato varieties to hedge against climate swings. In Africa's Sahel region, the Zai method, a traditional pit composting technique, is restoring arid lands and increasing food security. These practices are inherently sustainable and chemical-free, rooted in centuries of observation and adaptation. As we look forward, we're also looking back. To reclaim the brilliance of techniques almost lost to industrial arrogance. This movement is not just about methods, it's about mindsets. Green farming champions a holistic view of agriculture where success isn't measured solely in tons per acre but in carbon sequestered, pollinators protected, water retained, and communities empowered. It values the farm as an ecosystem and the farmer as a steward rather than an extractor. It questions the logic of endless growth and embraces regeneration instead. The question is not how much can we produce at any cost, but how well can we produce while enhancing the land. Technology is playing a surprising ally in this movement. Far from being anti-science, green farming is marrying ancient practices with cutting-edge innovations. Drones now monitor soil moisture and pest activity, allowing for precise, targeted interventions, reducing the need for any external inputs. AI-powered platforms help small farmers design crop rotations and identify plant diseases early. Recommending organic remedies. Biochar, a carbon-rich product made from agricultural waste, is being applied to soils to improve fertility and sequester carbon. Microbial inoculants, cocktails of beneficial bacteria and fungi, are replacing chemical fertilizers with astonishing results. The irony is clear, science is helping us farm more like nature intended. Of course, challenges remain. Green farming often demands more labor, especially in its early stages. Yields can initially dip as the soil transitions away from chemical dependence. Market access is another barrier. Many consumers still prioritize low prices over sustainable practices. But change is accelerating. Governments are offering subsidies for organic transitions. Restaurants and retailers are proudly sourcing from regenerative farms. Consumers are waking up to the cost of cheap food, measured not just in dollars but in destroyed ecosystems and declining health. The narrative is shifting. Organic is no longer niche. It's becoming normal. Local is no longer luxury, it's becoming logical. The economic case for green farming is growing stronger, too. Studies show that regenerative farms are often more profitable over time because they reduce input costs and improve long-term productivity. Healthy soils are more drought resilient. Diverse cropping systems reduce the risk of total crop failure. By investing in nature, green farmers are building buffers against a volatile climate and erratic markets. Their fields may not always look as tidy as chemically farmed ones, but beneath the surface, they are richer, more vibrant, and more secure. Then there's the health impact. Fruits and vegetables grown without synthetic pesticides have been found to contain higher levels of antioxidants and fewer residues. Workers on organic farms are less exposed to toxic substances. Waterways near green farms run clearer, with fewer algal blooms caused by nitrogen runoff. It's a ripple effect of wellness. Starting in the soil and extending to our plates, bodies, and communities. Farming without chemicals isn't just an environmental choice, it's a public health imperative. As climate change intensifies, the need for a resilient agricultural system becomes urgent. Chemical farming, heavily reliant on fossil fuels for both production and distribution of inputs, is part of the problem. Green farming, by contrast, is part of the solution. By building carbon-rich soils, it acts as a powerful tool for carbon sequestration. By reducing water use and enhancing biodiversity, it makes farms less vulnerable to climate shocks. It's a win-win-win, for the planet, for producers, and for people. All over the world, young farmers are taking up the mantle. They're educated, motivated, and digitally connected. They share compost recipes on social media, swap seeds across continents, and challenge the status quo with entrepreneurial zeal. From Brooklyn to Bangalore, a new generation is digging into the earth not just to grow crops, but to grow change. They see green farming not as a nostalgic return to the past, but as a bold leap into a sustainable future. The movement is gaining political momentum too. Countries like Bhutan are aiming for 100% organic agriculture. The European Union is funding research into agroecology. Even in traditionally industrial farming zones, pilot programs for regenerative transition are sprouting. It's clear, the future of food will not be written in synthetic chemicals, but in compost, cover crops, microbial partnerships, and community resilience. In the end, no chemicals, no problem, is more than a slogan. It's a promise. A promise that farming can be abundant and ethical. That food can be nourishing without being harmful. That we can align our need to cultivate the earth with our responsibility to protect it. Green farming is not the alternative. It's the answer. And every seed planted in living soil brings us one step closer to a world where nature, farmers, and future generations can thrive, together.